Well, hello, I'm Alex, and today we're gonna do some doodling. Use this to get back to that sketchbook of yours, or simply as a warm-up. In this series, I'll share with you doodling ideas based on observation. We'll do some continuous line drawing for those, but also based on repetition. We'll have fun with pattern play, and based on imagination, which is when we'll doodle with ink blots. My dream for you is that your creative play spills over into all parts of your life. And that's why I'm making these videos, so that you can take a tiny play break with me. This is your creativity timeout, baby. Just jump in and mess around with your art supplies and work alongside me. No worries, I'm keeping this. No fuss fabulous, easy peasy. Go ahead, check it out. Today we're going to do a pattern play doodling prompt. And all that means is that when we start, I'll give you a setup, a few rules, and then you just take it from there. So this one I like to call Tiles Trick, because it looks like a mosaic of tiles, especially when you color it in. This one is really fun to color in because there's so many ways you could color it in. So let's get going here. The first thing you need to do is to actually draw a grid. This is the one example I have where you start with a grid. So I'm in my sketchbook. I'm using a permanent pen, but you could do the grid part in pencil if you want. It's totally up to you. Again, if you want to be able to color it in, if you're using colored pencil, that's pretty much safe for anything. But if you're going to use markers and you don't want it to smear, typically it's easier if you start with permanent pen. So let's see. I'm going to just divide this in half. And then I think I want to divide each half into 3 parts. It doesn't need to be perfect. We just need to set ourselves up with a grid. Okay, and now, if I wanted these to be square, that looks to me like I could get 4 in here. 4 is going to look better than 3 for sure. So I'm going to divide each of these pages in half. So maybe like that. And then it's a little bit easier to go in here. So if you've been doodling in your sketchbook and your pen seems to flake out on you, like it's a brand new pen and it works great on some paper, and then after doodling in your sketchbook for a while it's like losing its darkness, that's because of the paper. If the paper's super scratchy, it just, you have to either close your pen and set it aside. That's why I always have more than one of the same pen, or you just have to deal with it. The smoother the paper, the easier it is to draw, and the better you keep your tonality of the black or whatever color you're using. Alright, step 1 is to draw a cross in every other square. Every other square gets a cross. Pretty easy, right? When you get to the next row, it's in between. It's kind of like you're making a checkers board. Every other square. I hope you guys are doing this with me. Even if you don't have a sketchbook, grab a ballpoint pen and a piece of paper. You're gonna like it. There's something really calming about repetition, and the same is true for when you're coloring. Alright, now you're going to go in, and the ones that you left blank, you're going to put an X. So you're going to go from diagonal to diagonal and put an X. There's only 4 steps, so we're halfway there once you get your X's in. Now you can already see from putting crosses and X's that you've got an interesting pattern going on. Imagine using 4 colors, just 4 colors to color this in. You would have to dedicate 1 color to each square and to each triangle. And that would make for a really beautiful pattern. You could just imagine this as a mosaic, as a ceramic mosaic, couldn't you? Alright, 4 boxes left. Now, here's something interesting you might notice. You might notice that all the diagonals end up creating lines. Isn't that interesting? Okay, 2 more steps left. You're going to go in now and you're going to be doing this from midpoint to midpoint. So forget about the corners. You're just focusing on midpoint. The easiest one to start with is the ones where you put the crosses. So you're going to go from midpoint to midpoint and create another box inside that square. Okay? So just do your crosses first. So it's every other square has a cross in it. Go in and you're connecting from midpoint to midpoint, and the result is a square inside a square. I'm halfway there. One more square and I'm done with step 3. Okay. Now this in itself would be fun to color in, but we have one more step, and that's to go now into the boxes where you put the X's and to do the same exact square inside a square. And you can use the boxes you just made, the little squares you just made, you can use those midpoints to tell you where to go. So the only squares that don't have a midpoint visible would be the ones along the edges. If you want, we'll start in the middle and then you'll see what I'm talking about. So obviously it's very easy here to go from midpoint to midpoint to midpoint to midpoint. I've just created a square inside the square that had the X, and I'm going from midpoint to midpoint using the points that have already been marked by the squares around it. So very easy. And you're just gonna have to pick a midpoint when you get to the edges. Okay? So if you want to do everything but the edges first, go ahead and do the ones where you can see the midpoint if you're worried about it. I wouldn't worry about it because this is not perfect. And keep going until you have all the squares with the X's now have a smaller square inside. So it's fun, isn't it? Can you see what's going on here? All right, let me do this bottom row. Okay, now the ones I haven't done yet are on top. I've just got a few more to go. 2 more. Gosh, my marker's barely making it to the end here. Okay, what do you think? Pretty amazing to get this beautiful layout that was so much fun to color depending on, like I said, you could limit your colors to 4 and then you're really going to start repeating where you place those colors. For example, the way you do the 4 inside this would need to contrast with the way you do the 4 that are left. So there's 8 colors you need for this guy. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's actually 12 colors for this guy if you wanted them to all be different. But I would say start with, you know, between 4 and 6 colors and try coloring it in. And if you do it in your sketchbook like this, keep half of it without color, so that you can see it in black and white and remember how to do it next time. And then color in the other half or experiment. You could even use watercolor if your paper's thick enough to take the water. I hope you had fun taking this tiny creative play break with me. Remember, there's always a way to bring more creative play into your life. And as long as you can play, as long as you can try new things, you're never ever stuck, right? I've got lots more ideas for you here on my YouTube channel, so subscribe, stay tuned, and play, play, play. Come back and gift yourself a daily dose of Make Stuff Feel Good energy. Thank you so much for being here. Sparkle on.